Hey guys, sorry I have been MIA for so long, but this is going to be a reading for Johnny Depp. This was a requested video, so I'm going to go over his career and what's going to be going on with his career coming up, and also his love life, and then I'll maybe ask the cards some on-the-fly questions. So the first thing I see with his career is he's been fighting very hard to get his career back on track. He is content with where his career is at currently. I do see that he was able to go overseas and still make money, still make movies. He found a way basically to stay in Hollywood in the way that he knew how. So he worked really hard to kind of get to that place where he was still a part of Hollywood in whatever way he could be. But I do feel like, I see here that he feels cheated a little bit, probably out of some success, out of money, out of opportunities. So, that was hard on him. What I see here is that it really did affect his mental health, where, I'm sure anybody that was, rejected in the way that he was, by his peers, by his career, probably, from powerful people in Hollywood, that was probably very difficult for him. But this card represents, like I've said in, past videos, that it's a prison of the mind. So it is something that, he can get out of. So I do feel like he's out of that kind of feeling, but, he was experiencing kind of a little bit of a depression at some point when he was still in this fight mode for his career. What I see is that he's gotten back to a place of balance in his career. So he's figured out a way how to balance his situation, basically. So, and I think that, how he did that was by going overseas and doing what, he had to do in order to get back to where he wanted to. Now, what I am seeing here is that it is his wish to get back into American movies and be back in the limelight and the status that he was before all of that stuff happened with Amber Heard. I do see that he'll probably get that wish. I see one project in particular being something that might put him back on the map, probably bring him a lot of acclaim, and people might start to come around to the idea of him being a Hollywood lead man again. Now, one thing that I'm seeing here is, and this project is something that he will absolutely love doing, that it's like a dream project for him, or like a dream role, whatever that could be, but it's something that he feels like he's meant to do. And so he will, I think this role will put him, back on the map, back on top. Now, one thing he needs to be careful of is with the Lovers coming up in his work reading here, is he still looks at his co-stars as possible love interests for him, which, as we all know, was a little dangerous for him when it comes to Amber Heard. So I do hope he needs, that he's careful about that sort of situation and who he chooses to date, because he still finds his co-stars attractive and he still wants to date them. Especially, this is very interesting, this popped out at me, is especially if they are tall, blonde, beautiful women. So that is his type in general. is the blonde bombshell. So so he needs to just be aware of that. He needs to keep that in check, make sure that he knows, who he's getting involved with. So I'll move on to his love life. So I do see that he is concentrating more on his career currently. His love life isn't necessarily at the top of his priority list. But it's like he's aware of that he's the type of person that he's like a fool's Russian type of guy. So when he falls for someone, he falls for them hard. He's a take charge kind of guy. So like he will go after the woman that he wants. He's not shy in that way. And so he is aware of that in himself. He knows that about himself. So he's aware that he chooses the wrong partner a lot of times because of that. And these two cards next to each other show me that he now, after what happened with Amber Heard, he has a fear of marriage. So he is not that keen on getting married. And I think because he's this like fool's Russian type of person, it adds a layer of worry for him, because in his mind, he's like, well, I fall in love, and when I fall in love, I want to get married. But I, am so, worried that I'm going to choose the wrong person, or this person's going to use me or hurt me or do something. So he is very cautious about that. So I don't think he is keen to get married or ready to get married in any way at this point. It's more of like he's afraid that he would talk himself out of not getting married, which is like should be the opposite or something, but yeah, like he's afraid that he himself would choose to marry another person and choose the wrong person again. So currently what he's doing is he is being focused on having a good time. He's probably just I wouldn't even think that he's like dating people. Like it's more of like probably like one night stands, flings, just going out and seeing where the night takes him type of thing. Like I don't think that he is serious about anybody right now. And so yeah, like this is showing me like that he's only caring about sex right now. Like if he's doing anything, that's all he's doing is hooking up and not getting involved with people. This card is also showing me here that he is very worried about people taking his money. As we know of what happened with Amber, he is vigilant about gold diggers. He's very, very aware of it now, and whereas I feel like in the past he was not so aware of it. So he is way less generous with his money when it comes to women. So I mean, I heard, I think it was now I can't remember where I guess it was maybe in that documentary about Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, but there was stuff about how he like put her up in his condo and gave like her family condos and like gave them money and just like all this money and stuff, and not only to just Amber but like to her friends and family and and all these people. And so he is not doing that anymore. He is being very cautious and not being as generous with his money. If anything, the only thing he's spending money on when it comes to women is like he may buy you the round of drinks when you know, he's out at the bar and he wants to take you home that night. But that's probably all you're going to get out of him. Like, he is right now, I'll take you out for drinks and then we're going to bang and then we're done. So that's kind of where he's at in his love life, which I don't blame him, because he was definitely put through the ringer with Amber. Also, one thing I see, there might be also a little bit something here that when he does do this sort of stuff, like hooks up with women, he might offer a small fee to these women to maybe sign NDAs or something like that, and maybe even consent forms. You know, there's something about that also, because of what happened with Amber, you know, with the sexual assault stuff. Like, he does not want to have that happen ever again. So there is like something put in place about that, you know, like, you have to sign NDA, you have to sign a consent form, I need a copy of your ID, you know, like all the stuff to make sure that he is not tricked by anybody again. So he's being very, very cautious about that stuff. So one of the questions that was asked, let me find it really quickly. Does he get his reputation back? I mean, I think it will be sort of 50-50. Like, there's gonna still be people that believe Amber, that you know, are just Team Amber, and they're never going to be believe Johnny Depp and what he said. But there is going to be a certain amount of people that are going to be accepting of him again, and you know, kind of put him back on the pedestal that he was on. Why is the media against him? I mean, ultimately what this is saying to me is, you know, the media, it's like they're just trying to find stories that are juicy, that, you know, make people want to click, that, you know, make them money, basically. So it's like they don't really care about if they're giving Johnny Depp a hard time, or anybody for that matter. They're just like, whatever, it's, you know, not my problem. Like, I'm just trying to, like, make a buck. So it's kind of unfortunate that they don't see how it affects him, and how it affects his life, and how it affects his emotions. And, you know, from these cards, what I see is that's partially why Johnny Depp left the country for, you know, I mean, I'm not even sure he's even really back. He's not really back in the country. I mean, every time I hear a story about him, he's like overseas. So, you know, he's just like not interested in being a part of like the circus anymore. So, trying to think if that was all the questions there was. Trying to think if I have any questions. I guess I'll ask, how's Johnny Depp's, you know, music career gonna go? Yeah, I feel like his music really grounds him. It really gives him, it's sort of like a pure like art form for him to be able to dabble in. It's something that he can kind of disappear into, that he's not like, he doesn't have to be like necessarily the front man, because I think he only plays guitar, so it's not like he's a lead singer. Well, I mean, sometimes he sings, but it's like, it's something that he can just enjoy and not have to necessarily be scrutinized for it or anything like that. So I can see here that he really, really does love his music career, and it's something that gives him peace. It gives him just like a lot of calmness in his life, and it's something that he can do by himself also. So I see here that he probably loves to play music alone, like when he's, you know, in his house by himself. So, and that can be rare also for, you know, like a movie star. It's like, in order to make a movie, you need, you know, hundreds of people to be involved. So I do see that it's something that I think he really likes to do alone, and it's like one of the only things that he can do by himself. I guess I'll ask, how's his art career gonna go, because I do think he makes art also. Well, his art career is a little bit dicier, because one thing I see here is like, he definitely loses money on that. Like, he's not like he makes a fair amount of money, like I guess from the stuff that maybe he does sell, but he puts that money like back into the art. So he, you know, making new art pieces. So it's not like a profitable business for him. And he's like a little bit iffy about it, because what I see here is like, it's a little bit of there's a little bit of insecurity there, like thinking like, am I good at this or not? Like, I don't really know. So he questions his ability to do it. And then he also doesn't like the scrutiny of it. Like, what I mean by that is the art critics, like people saying this is not good art or this is not real art. It's something that he doesn't enjoy. He doesn't like that part of it. He would rather it just be something that people, you know, would just appreciate or enjoy and not have to criticize it. But that's, you know, a lot of what people do. I think that's why he loves the music so much, because he gets less criticism of that, and it's also something that he can enjoy by himself, and he doesn't have to get people's opinion on it. I guess that's all the questions I had. So I hope you guys like this, and let me know if you have any other celebrities you would like to hear reading about, and let me know if you have any further questions about Johnny Depp, and maybe I'll, you know, answer them in the comments. But thanks for watching and listening, and subscribe, and have a great day, night, wherever you are. All right, bye.